Hello, YouTube. There were some more things in the book of Kohelet, or Ecclesiastes, that I wanted to bring up. On a surface level, it may seem that these are contradictions, but I tend to see them as ideas about God that the writer feels that he should bring up, or that he wants to believe, but conflict with his own observations about reality. So let's start in chapter 1, verses 16 through 18. I said to myself, I have acquired great wisdom, surpassing all who were over Jerusalem before me, and my mind has had great experience of wisdom and knowledge. And I applied my mind to know wisdom and to know madness and folly. I perceive that this also is but a chasing after wind. For in much wisdom is much vexation, and those who increase in knowledge increase sorrow. So, a regret regarding gaining wisdom. But this is in chapter 2, verse 13. Then I saw that wisdom excels folly, as light excels darkness. Continuing in verses 14 through 17. The wise have eyes in their head, but fools walk in darkness. Yet I perceived that the same fate befalls all of them. Then I said to myself, what happens to the fool will happen to me also. Why then have I been so very wise? And I said to myself that this is also vanity. For there is no enduring remembrance of the wise or of fools, seeing that in the days to come all will have been long forgotten. How can the wise die just like fools? So I hated life, because what is done under the sun was grievous to me. For all is vanity and a chasing after wind. So he sees some value in wisdom being superior to folly, but in the end sees it as pointless because the same fate befalls everyone. This is in verses 24 through 26 of chapter 2. There is nothing better for mortals than to eat and drink and find enjoyment in their toil. This also I saw was from the hand of God. For apart from him, who can eat or who can have enjoyment? For to the one who pleases him, God gives wisdom and knowledge and joy. But to the sinner he gives the work of gathering and heaping, only to give to one who pleases God. So in verse 26, we see the usual doctrine of retribution showing up. People who are loyal to God will be punished and will be subservient to people who please God. But he also mentions at the end of verse 26, this also is vanity and a chasing after wind. This is in chapter 7, verses 15 through 18, regarding wisdom and knowledge. In my vain life I have seen everything. There are righteous people who perish in their righteousness, and there are wicked people who prolong their life in their evil doing. Do not be too righteous, and do not act too wise. Why should you destroy yourself? Do not be too wicked, and do not be a fool. Why should you die before your time? It is good that you should take hold of the one without letting go of the other. For the one who fears God shall succeed with both. The one who fears God shall succeed in balancing good and evil. A bit more practical advice than the doctrine of retribution. This is from chapter 6, verse 10. Whatever has come to be has already been named, and it is known what human beings are, and that they are not able to dispute with those who are stronger. Now, that's almost a deterministic statement, that human beings are not able to dispute with God. They're not able to dispute with fate. about what's going to happen to them. But he mentions this in chapter 7, verse 29. See, this alone I found, that God made many human beings straightforward, but they have devised many schemes. Now that paints a picture of God being less powerful than described previously. This is from chapter 8, verses 10 through 17. Then I saw the wicked buried. They used to go in and out of the holy place, and were praised in the city where they had done such things. This also is vanity, because sentence against an evil deed is not executed speedily. The human heart is fully set to do evil. Though sinners do evil 100 times and prolong their lives, yet I know that it will be well with those who fear God, because they stand in fear before him. But it will not be well with the wicked, neither will they prolong their days like a shadow, because they do not stand in fear before God. Isn't that almost like wishful thinking? There is a vanity that takes place on earth, that there are righteous people who are treated according to the conduct of the wicked, and there are wicked people who are treated according to the conduct of the righteous. I said that this also is vanity. That seems like a charge against God for not executing this greater system of justice. So I commend enjoyment, for there is nothing better for people under the sun than to eat and drink and enjoy themselves. For this will go with them in their toil through the days of life that God gives them under the sun. When I applied my mind to know wisdom and to see the business that is done on earth, how one's eyes see sleep neither day nor night, then I saw all the work of God, that no one can find out what is happening under the sun. However much they may toil in seeking, they will not find it out. Even those who are wise claim to know. They cannot find it out. So despite his previous claims that he knows how God is going to act, intervene in the affairs of human beings, he's now saying that that's something that we can't find out. And the people who pretend to know are just making it up. Continuing in chapter 9, all this I laid to heart, examining it all, how the righteous and the wise and their deeds are in the hand of God. Whether it is love or hate, one does not know. Everything that confronts them is vanity, since the same fate comes to all, to the righteous and the wicked, to the good and the evil, to the clean and the unclean, to those who sacrifice and those who do not sacrifice. As are the good, so are the sinners. Those who swear are like those who shun an oath. This is an evil in all that happens under the sun, that the same fate comes to everyone. This is another charge against God for not executing justice as had been promised. Moreover, the hearts of all are full of evil. Madness is in their hearts while they live, and after that they go to the dead. So that reaffirms the idea in this writing that there is no afterlife. But whoever is joined with all the living has hope, for a living dog is better than a dead lion. That's a little bit of morbid humor, but it actually speaks against something which the writer had mentioned previously. This is in chapter 4, verses 1 through 3. Again, I saw all the oppressions that are practiced under the sun. Look, the tears of the oppressed, with no one to comfort them. On the side of their oppressors there was power, with no one to comfort them. And I thought the dead, who have already died, more fortunate than the living, who are still alive. But better than both is the one who has not yet been and has not seen the evil deeds that are done under the sun. So it's like on one level, he's glad to be alive, but on another level, it would have been better to not have experienced the injustice in the world at all, or to no longer be in the world, to have to experience that injustice. This is verses 7 and 11 from chapter 9. Go eat your bread with enjoyment and drink your wine with a merry heart, for God has long ago approved what you do. Again, I saw that under the sun the race is not to the swift, nor the battle to the strong, nor bread to the wise, nor riches to the intelligent, nor favor to the skillful, but time and chance happen to them all. So again, he wants this approval from God. He wants to believe that God's in control, but at the same time, he sees chaos. This is from verses 8 through 10 of chapter 11. Even those who live for many years should rejoice in them all, yet let them remember that the days of darkness will be many. All that comes is vanity. Rejoice, young man, while you are young, and let your heart cheer you in the days of your youth. Follow the inclination of your heart and the desire of your eyes. Really? But know that for all these things God will bring you into judgment. You sure about that? Banish anxiety from your mind and put away pain from your body, for youth and the dawn of life are vanity. So it's like there's almost a little bit of a warning concealed in this admonition here to really go out and do what you want to do. Find out what fulfills you. And at the end of this book, verse 13, the beginning of verse 13 reads, "The end of the matter, all has been heard." Doesn't that seem like that would be an appropriate end to this writing? But we have something that seems to be tacked on at the end here, because it may have been the writer himself, but I think this was probably a later addition, that what we need to bring this more in line with Orthodox thinking. Fear God and keep his commandments, for that is the whole duty of every one. For God will bring every deed into judgment, including every secret thing, whether good or evil. But at the same time, chance happens to all, and the same fate befalls everyone. Now, this could just be seen as a bit of a contradictory mess, but I see this more as, I don't know, someone in deep conflict about what they've been taught, what they want to believe about the level of control that God has in the world, but at the same time struggling to acknowledge the way that he sees things, the way that the conditions of the world really are. Anyway, I thought that was some interesting observations from this writer.